Good morning, Restricted Research Committee. Happy to see everybody's back for the second day of the Restricted Research Transparency Reward process, Reward Transparency process. Let's just, I'm going to take a roll call in a second, make sure that we have everyone present and go over some housekeeping, and we will be ready to go. So as we have everybody on, I'm just going to go through and do a roll call real fast, and we're going to go ahead and please unmute and let me know that you're here. And if you have anybody else with you, and we'll go over the housekeeping aspects of the meeting. Angelo State.
Yes, this is Katie Plum at Angelo State.
Good morning. Lamar.
This is Candace Moore with Lamar University.
Good morning. Midwestern State University.
Good morning. This is Kathy Zeckweiler at Midwestern State.
Morning. Prairie View A&M University.
Good morning. This is Kimberly Cooks along with Dr. Teresa Bailey from Prairie View A&M University.
Good morning. Sam Houston State University.
Hi, this is Brian Law from Sam Houston State. Good morning.
Morning. Stephen F. Austin.
Hi, this is Jennifer Patterson with Stephen F. Austin, and I also have Leslie Cecil with me.
Good morning. Saul Ross.
Good morning. This is Brett Siebert with Saul Ross.
Morning. Carleton State.
Good morning. This is Rupa Iyer with Tarleton State. I have Nelly DeCiccio and Becky Wood joining me.
Good morning. Texas A&M International. Texas A&M Galveston.
Good morning. This is Patty Gonzalez at Texas A&M in Galveston.
Good morning. Texas A&M Central Texas.
Good morning, Walt Murphy, A&M Central Texas.
Good morning. Texas A&M Commerce. Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Good morning, Charlene Ahmed with Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and I also have Hannah Mitchell joining me.
Good morning. Texas A&M Kingsville.
Good morning, everyone. This is Jose Espiritu, along with Diana Luna and Cynthia Villarreal from Texas A&M University, Kingsville.
Good morning. I'm going to say Texas A&M San Antonio is present with us, and is Dr. Garcia also on?
Yes, good morning, I'm here.
Good morning, Dr. Garcia, and I want to.
Was that Texas A&M San Antonio that you called?
Yeah.
This is Patricia Zibluck from Texas A&M San Antonio.
I'm sorry. That's correct. I gave Texas A&M Texarkana. Texas Southern University. Texas State University. Texas Tech University.
Good morning, Amy Cook, Texas Tech University.
Good morning. Texas Women's University.
Good morning. This is Holly Hanson Thomas from Texas Women's.
Good morning. University of Texas at Arlington.
Good morning, Sarah Panapinto, University of Texas at Arlington.
Good morning. University of Texas at Dallas.
Hello, this is Emily Lacey from UT Dallas.
Good morning. University of Texas, El Paso.
Good morning. This is Manuela Doki, and with me are Emily Baeza and Daniel Lopez.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm sorry, Manuel, who was the one that you said before Daniel?
Emily Baeza.
Thank you. Good morning. University of Texas at San Antonio, we have Dr. Garcia online, but I would like to express my sincere appreciation for having Ms. Veronica Stoller, I'm sorry, sitting with us this morning and is allowing us to be in compliance with Open Meetings Act so that we can have this meeting. So I want to say once again, thank you very much to UTSA for complying or helping us and assisting us with this meeting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for very much, Dr. Garcia and Veronica. University of Texas at Tyler.
Good morning, Carla Reichert for UT Tyler, and we also have Dr. Quita Mokhtari with us.
Good morning. University of Texas of the Permian Basin.
Good morning, Tim Pierce with UTPB.
Good morning. University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley.
Good morning, Mari Perez on the line, and we also have Dr. Thomas Spencer, AVP for Research Operations.
Good morning. University of Houston.
Good morning and happy Friday Eve. Chris Milligan, University of Houston.
Good morning. University of Houston, Clear Lake. University of Houston, downtown.
Good morning, Brandy Smith Irving, UH Downtown.
Morning. University of Houston, Victoria.
Good morning, University of Houston Victoria, Angela Hartman.
Good morning. University of North Texas, sorry.
Good morning, Chuck Tarantino, and I have with me Emily Losey and Dallas Gill.
Good morning. University of North Texas at Dallas.
Good morning. You have Alicia Brose with University of North Texas at Dallas.
Good morning. And West Texas A&M.
Good morning, Teresa Clemens with West Texas A&M University.
Good morning. All right, we're going to go through these ones. Texas A&M International. Texas A&M Commerce.
Good morning, CC Gassner for A&M Commerce. My apologies, having severe technical difficulties for a bit there.
Not a problem. Good morning. Texas A&M Texarkana. Texas Southern University.
Good morning, Adana Brown, Texas Southern University.
Good morning. Texas State University.
Good morning, Roundtree, Texas State University.
Good morning. University of Houston Clear Lake. That should do it. All righty. So this morning, if you would, we're going to go back to the housekeeping slide to just let us know again. There's no sidebar discussions during the meeting today. Speakers, identify yourselves. When you are going to announce yourselves, please identify your name and your institution so that we have note of who is speaking. Right-click on your name to make sure that you have your name posted on the screen, so you can right-click and put your first name, last name, and your institution's acronym. And when we did the roll call already, when we do that, just or whenever you speak, unmute your microphone so that we can hear you. We're going through the agenda again today, so we're starting off, we're going to finish off on the greater than 250 awards, greater than 250,000. Before we get started though, there's one thing that was brought to my attention yesterday. In our guidance, we asked that if you have one main speaker for your institution, and that the other speakers will stay muted and have their video feed stopped while the meeting is going on, unless the main point of contact for the institution calls them to speak. So I just want to reiterate that from yesterday. I think we didn't quite follow that, but I just want to make sure that we do that today to make sure that happens. I believe that is it. There's one other thing, and this I'm going to bring this to the committee. We had a request. One of the institutions, Tarleton State, has to leave early due to time constraints. And they were asking if they could do theirs prior to them having to leave. They have to leave by 11. So if it's okay with the committee, I would like to move them up into the in the review so that we can accommodate their time frame. If there's anyone that has any objection to that, please let me know. And if not, we will try to accommodate Tarleton as much as we can.
May I have it? I also emailed and requested that I have another 11 o'clock. This is Shami with TMUCC. Anytime before.
TAMU Corpus Christi?
Yes.
Righty, I might have missed that. I am sorry. I apologize. So we have two. We have Tarleton State University and Texas A&M Corpus Christi. I will try to do my best, if it's all right with the committee, to accommodate their time schedule and so that we can get through all of the award reviews. All right, so we are going, yes. Any question?
No, I just said thank
All
you.
right. Oh, you're quite welcome, quite welcome. We're going to finish, let's finish first. We stopped yesterday at over 250 awards, the University of Texas at El Paso. And I think, I take that back. There was one that we tabled yesterday for Texas A&M Kingsville. Dr. Espiritu, correct?
Yesterday.
Yes.
Yes. So we have that one to finish first, and then we will go on to Texas, University of Texas at El Paso, and continue from there. For the 250s, I believe the next one, we'll try to accommodate Texas A&M Corpus Christi and go to them next. I think Tarleton State University has already been addressed. If they had any of those on the list for questionables, which I don't see any. But I think we'll do that. So we'll take the tabled one from Texas A&M Kingsville first. Then we'll go on to University of Texas at El Paso next. And then to Texas A&M Corpus Christi in order to accommodate their schedule. All right. So Dr. Espiritu, I think we're now ready for you. I apologize. We're ready for you for award 10010 S. Baker.
Yes. So yesterday, there was a request to upload additional documents. We uploaded all the documents. We uploaded the proposal, the budget for the committee to take a look at it. But basically, I just want to repeat that in this project has already gone for IRB review. And there are different interventions or activities that are going to be developed and implemented at our institution. And those interventions are going to be evaluated during the study to look at the effectiveness of those interventions related to different KPIs or key performance indicators that are mentioned through the proposal. So those KPIs are, for instance, improved retention, persistence, and graduation rates. And so data will be collected continuously. There will be different types of evaluations that are going to be performed. Some of them are going to be formative evaluations, summative evaluations. And if you had time to go over the documents that were uploaded, I think after page 50, there is a good discussion about some of the research questions that are being asked, the types of evaluations that are going to be performed, and it's confirmed there that the PI mentions that all those findings will be published and will be presented at different conferences. So in this case, we believe that SAM 1.1.1 and 1.3.1 apply. And again, this is called as research and development as approved by Department of Education. And well, there will be formal method for collecting data and analyzing all that data to do some statistical analysis and provide some recommendations based on the findings. Some of the studies that they are presenting are based on other research that has been done in different institutions. But in this case, what we are going to be doing, or the researchers are going to be doing, is going to be on a Hispanic serving institution, more specifically in the South Texas region. So again, I think this proposal applies for SAM 1.1 and 1.3.1.
Thank you. Any questions?
This is Chris Milligan from the University of Houston. So I'm looking at the other info PDF, which appears to be the actual award or the description of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't doubt that there's research going on. My concern with this is with reading it and looking at the project design with the goals mentioned specifically for this project, goal 1, goal 2, goal 3, and I've just very, very quickly was skimming through this. None of them seem to focus on the research as being the primary goal of this award.
If you scroll down to page 50, there you will find the information related to the project effectiveness. And basically, the objective is just to uncover if these proposed interventions are effective or not. So in order to do that and to provide these recommendations that may be replicated at other institutions, so there they are mentioning specifically some of the formative, summative evaluation that is going to be performed, and they made references to other research if you continue scrolling, but also within the narrative, you can find different information regarding evaluation and data collection. So again, the project is framed to demonstrate or basically how it's written in terms of satisfying the competitive priorities that were addressed in that RFA. And at the same time, then it's required to basically demonstrate that what is being proposed is going to be effective or not. So that has to be done. And data has to be collected. Data has to be analyzed. And then that has to be reported back to the agency, and also is going to be published and presented. So that's part of the project.
And I completely agree with you. There's no doubt that there is research going on here, but is that the main 51% or more of the purpose of this award?
I think so.
That's where I'm hanging on.
No, I think so. In this case, yes, because all the different activities are basically geared to implement them and assess these different activities. Without these funds, we will not be able to do it because we will not have those coaches, those faculty members will not be trained into some state-of-the-art requirements so that they could implement these high impact practices. So we could not be able to do it. Yes.
Yeah. I do have a question. This is Manuela from UT El Paso. I'm kind of in the same boat with two of my projects. And I learned yesterday that, yes, they write to the specific focus to the Department of Education, but as Dr. Espiritu said, there is a lot of research going into it because you have to develop the pre-testing and the post-testing to be able to measure the outcomes and the impacts of what you're developing. So, and for the life of some of my educators, they do not know how to write a research proposal and understand that you have to have these things in order to have and develop a program. You have to study what's current, what can we do? You have to strategize, you have to data collect, post-testing or whatever, or pre-testing. Then you have to develop the new tools and then implement them and then post-test to make sure that you have an impact and that you made a difference to prove your hypothesis that you can make a difference in the current, and you're going to hear the same thing again, and it's my turn, right? But yes, most of these projects that historically were coded instruction or whatever, they are based in research. Everything bespeaks research to get to the, to be able to meet the objectives proposed.
That's Sandra Garcia, UTSA. I agree, these projects can be embedded in research, but if we could see the budget, that would help us make a decision if it's 50% of the funds are utilized for the research component.
I also have a question. I'm sorry, I prefer.
No, go ahead, Amy, you're fine.
You're on mute now.
We cannot hear you.
Yes.
Isn't that always the way? So I too would like to see the budget only because I don't want to retread our project from last time, but I'm really just trying to get a feel for what I'm going to tell the investigator. And when I look at their budget, what I saw was a lot of it was in the intervention itself. And by intervention, I mean the teaching that was happening, the training that was happening, which is, I guess, a form of service provision. But they were testing that as if it was an intervention. It's not like an intervention like a therapeutic or a pharmaceutical or something like that. But the point of the project, even in the budget, it might look like 40% of it is an intervention, but it's the intervention that they're testing. It's almost as if they were developing a drug, then using that drug to then, so maybe there's R&D that goes into the drug development, but then all of the testing that takes place in the randomized controlled trial, et cetera, is also part of the research. So I would like to see the budget too, because I'm not sure if I would love to hear what others are looking for in the budget so that I can also tell my investigators, well, we need to telegraph it this way when we're building. So I'm just curious, what would we be looking for here that would tell us that this teaching thing this teaching package that they're testing is not an intervention, but a service?
This is Kathy Zuckweiler at Midwestern State. I'm with Chris Milligan on this one. The purpose of the Strengthening Institutions program is student intervention. So there is absolutely intervention. There is research that is part of that. But from my perspective, what I know about this program and this particular implementation of it, the intervention and the student success piece is key. The research is sort of incidental or tangential to that. It's not.
Yeah, but no, there is research. But there is research going on. We cannot just say that we're going to be doing A, B, and C, and that's it. There should be these interventions and activities should be supported by previous research performed in other contexts, and maybe then translated it into our Hispanic serving institution context, specifically for South Texas region, where I have been at a different Hispanic serving institution, and I thought it was going to be similar or the same, but no, there is a huge difference. Even we are Hispanics, there is a huge difference. Maybe one method worked where I was before, but in here, it may have to be adapted. It may have to be tested. And then you will need to publish it, because there you will look into differences among Hispanic serving institutions or serving Hispanic communities in South Texas, West Texas, I don't know. But this is has to be based on some previous work. It's not something that we're saying we're inventing or reinventing the wheel. No, the educational research is there. This is not 100% educational research. It's to provide these services that we don't have and then test them based on evidence. And we want to develop and provide some evidence to others who are interested in developing this type of activities to tell them if they work or not.
I don't think anybody's disputing that there's a research component to this. I think that is accepted across the board. I think the question is more, is the intent of the program and the project, is it primarily a research-based project, or is it a student support institutional strengthening project that also has a research component to it?
I would go ahead. This is Manuela from UTEP. I'm going to say UTEP, okay. I understand that, Kathy, I really do. And again, I'm with Dr. Espiritu that in this case, in these cases, first of all, U.S. Department of Education finally recognized that the majority of this is R&D, and that's why they're labeling the GAN as R&D. And according to many state comptroller audits that we have had, that has to be a designation if we want to code it research, and we do. And then we analyze what is being done here. So the majority, you know, in what I've seen in Dr. Espiritu's budget is, number one, student support, and number two, staff, right? Which to me means that the staff has been designated to do the research and pay the population to participate, to make sure that he has the basic population to do the right analysis and testing, to then have improved the outcome. So it is more of a 1.1.1 research project than it is a training project. This is exactly what I think that Department of Education recognized by labeling it R&D, because as Dr. Espiritu said, some of these things have not been addressed. They have been not addressed in curriculum. So there's also curriculum development and verification, and which is covered under 1.3.1. There is so much that I believe leans more towards research than any other category, because it's not instruction in itself, and it's not other or public service in itself. To me, the majority of this project is research. What is not clearly defined is the methodology of the research. However, it is inherent in description that Dr. Espiritu has provided. So I'm with Dr. Espiritu. This is research, but however, I've said my piece.
So this is Shami.
We have three hands up. I just want to go in order of who we have the hands. We have Amy, and then Sarah, and then Katie.
I mean, I don't want to overspeak, Charmaine, but if I would put, I'm just using the reactions under reaction. Yes, that's it. And then it lines you up in the queue. Okay, so I have a question for Chris and for Kathy and maybe even Katie, because you guys might object to the calling this research. So I understand that we're using federal designations for these programs as whether or not they're research. But I just know that Department of Education funding may or may not have that designation. And I also know that, for example, the CDC has calls where they are like exclusionary of research. You cannot count it as research in order to, so I feel like there are research, the feds, some calls research, then they have some that are teaching and research, like the ones that are kind of fall in this category. And then they have some that are you better not have research, like exclusionary of research. So in those, I understand how this group would definitely, object to including as research any Fed call or any Fed broad announcement or something that says you cannot use this for research. But in the cases of research and teaching and research, especially for faculty who are in teaching, I'm wondering what would be or let's just take these amorphous, these sort of like the cases where we don't know for sure if it's 51% or 51% teaching or 51% research. I'm just trying to figure out like what would be the telltale signs that you'd know that it's 51% research, particularly as I described, if the service itself or the training or the educational program itself is the intervention. So I'm wondering if y'all could help me understand that.
I guess I'll
Sarah?
go first.
I was gonna let Sarah.
Okay, I don't have a response. Although I would say that, traditionally, because I think we're all in agreement that, NIH, NSF say that all their projects are research, right? And as a committee, we don't agree with that. So I would say that even the projects that say these are not research, if you can say that the piece that your institution is doing, especially if it's a sub-agreement, is research, we can disregard what it says on an award notice as the federal designation. So I just want to kind of clarify what I perceive as a committee we've done before.
Although Sarah, I'm new, so I would argue that 99% of what NIH and NSF does is research, even though there might be the noise in 1 or 2% that is not. That's why I would say like there should, instead of being a review them all for NSF, I would say just have an exclusion list of if it's noise or if it's other ones, since the number is tiny, that if those come up, they are under review rather than the ones that always ask for scientific merit.
That's a very interesting way to make the meeting shorter, and I certainly wouldn't disagree with that. But anyway, back to what I wanted to say originally, and I'm sorry that I don't have a better response for your point, Amy. But so in looking at the narrative and in hearing Dr. Espiriti's description of the program, it seems to me that we've got a couple of different novel things that they're putting together to try and retain this group of students. So it's kind of like mixing together a whole bunch of different chemicals to see if it'll cure cancer, in my mind. They're trying to see whether or not this group or this few interventions are going to work better at retaining this group of students than what UT Arlington is doing or what UT El Paso is doing or what Kingsville had done traditionally. So, to me, it looks like research. And, and the budget, if everyone's kind of following my train of thought here, all aspects of the budget, then the people that are teaching these new novel classes, the people that are doing the advising, the students are all participating in this wonderful research project to see if we can keep more students in school. So, to me, I'd vote yes for research. Thank you.
Katie?
Sorry, I unraised my hand but forgot to unmute. Back to Amy's original question, I would agree with you. I don't actually pay too much attention to what's on the GAN because the individuals who determine what's in that R&D thing aren't looking at the scope of that particular project. They have like a list of CFDA numbers that they're just automatically plugging into that. And so it's not really indicative necessarily of whether something is truly research. We have a number of GANs that have R&D on them, but our projects we might have a teeny tiny research component, but the preponderance of the project. And that's really what my threshold for this is. When I think primary, I use that language, the preponderance of the evidence. And what does the preponderance of the evidence? So that's why if somebody says it has IRB review by itself isn't enough for me. I want to see evidence based on what's in the proposal, what's in the budget, the IRB, and they all come together. In this case, I'm not seeing it in the budget, for example, because there is nothing specifically budgeted for the research piece. I see nothing for faculty researchers to carry out the work. And I don't see, I mean, I see faculty fellows to get some training, but I don't see actual researchers built in here. I see coaches and some other stuff. And I also am not seeing it throughout the proposal, kind of this weaving of that. Whenever I've had, which I've had 1 or 2 projects where it's a test, whenever I've had a project where it truly is testing the intervention, but not just providing services, we always have our research questions and that framework within our abstract and at the front of the proposal, because that's what's driving the work, not what we're trying to do for the students, although that's a piece of it, but the research is driving it. Otherwise, there's other scholarly activity in here. There is research components, but I don't see the primary purpose of either the program or the proposal as research.
If I may, I answer to you.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's let Dr. Espiritu respond, and then we'll go to Charmaine.
Yeah, let me address all the questions that Katie has. So basically, we call them STEM coaches, but these STEM coaches are the ones who are going to be developing those interventions. Remember, this is research and development, developing these interventions so that we can test them on the field or basically with the students. So all of them, those positions, will be the new positions, and they will be developing these interventions, and that's the main objective in developing these interventions and then collecting data and testing the data and reporting back. That's what we're saying, that most of the funds, more than 50%, are devoted for research purposes. I know that there are some educational type of projects that can be written clearly with the educational research upfront, as you were mentioning. But in this case, for the Department of Education, we have to go and satisfy the competitive priorities that they are addressing. But at the same time, we really find the value in this development of activities and implementing, as Amy was mentioning. So this is why I called it development. So research and development, developing all these activities. And these coaches are geared towards different interventions. One of those is the training the professors so that they can implement some high impact practices in their curriculum, some hands-on type of activities so that they can modernize their curriculum. And some of them are also used for research, so as I mentioned it, in this case, they are AR, VR. I guess for some students in biology, they are going to have some, I don't know, I'm not from the medical field, but some mannequins or something where they are interactive, they can play with it, they will teach them how to use them, they can use it for other purposes. So that's what I'm saying. As you were mentioning, right? There may be some of these buckets, some in the middle. In this one that is in the middle, I think that's why I uploaded everything. I think this one, it's one of those cases that qualifies because more than 50% of the funds are used for that.
Now we have Charmaine.
So if I may add to it, being in the South Texas area and similar type of researches that I see in it on these type of research, when you are measuring student success, you have both qualitative and quantitative research being done. And in order to do your qualitative part, right, or the quantitative, in order for, you gotta gather your qualitative data first through your teaching, through those student success, and measure those quantitatively, analyzing whatever the methodological tool, which was not well written here. However, despite that, the output of it is quite clearly indicative of that those steps have to be taken in order to measure that output. So the bulk of the work that you are evaluating, although it talks about the students, the core group of people are your manpower that dealing with it, analyzing the most of the qualitative work in order to get the output and measure in it. So to me, it's pretty much clear that it falls under that domain of the one. So I would vote for this as a research. Thank you.
Manuela.
I just want to clarify that one of the reasons why I'm such a strong supporter of the project in Tamuk, although I'm a UT system school, is because I'm in the same boat. I have a couple of projects coming up, well, actually 4, I think, that have the same concentration. And this research that we're trying to minimize as being a small part of the whole. It's not going to happen overnight or in the first 3 months or in the last 3 months of the project. It is an ongoing objective, requirement. So the research, although not expressed, in detail, it is an ongoing main focus. So it is rationally and mathematically evident that the majority of the funds are dedicated to the research component and the implementation of the outcomes, and then the publication development and new curriculum design development. All of that is embedded in this 5-year, it's 5 years, Dr. Spiritu, right? This 5-year program. So it's, yeah, I'm definitely on the coding it for research. And yes, US Department of Education has always been behind on the Powerball regarding the labeling. And Katie from Angelo State, we've been down that discussion before, and I've learned a lot from you. Thank you. Okay. And yes, my integrity says, don't make something that's not. So, but in this case, I really have to defend that it is the majority research. Thank you.
Kathy. Yeah, thank you, Kathy.
So I'm looking at the program information on the Department of Ed website, and the program description says that it helps eligible IHEs to become self-sufficient and expand their capacity to serve low-income students by providing funds to improve and strengthen the academic quality, institutional management, and fiscal stability of eligible institutions. Funds may be used for planning, faculty development, and establishing endowment funds. Administrative management and the development and improvement of academic programs are also supported. Other projects include joint use of instructional facilities, construction and maintenance, and student service programs designed to improve academic success, including innovative, customized instruction courses designed to help retain students, move the students rapidly into core courses and through program completion. So this is primarily, the SIP program, Strengthening Institutions, is primarily oriented towards student success, institutional capability. There is absolutely a research component to this, but as I've argued all along, this is incidental or tangential to the primary purpose of the project, which is to strengthen the institution and support student success. So I just wanted to share from the Department of Ed website, the program description and what they intend for the funds to be used for.
Sandra.
Yes, thank you for all the discussion. It really helps us to, learn about these Department of Education projects and the bulk of them. But however, can we just go to vote?
I think I was going to, we have one more comment?
Sorry, I think this is Brett Siebert with Saul Ross. I think this is a Title III Part F, which is the STEM and articulation agreement. So
You went on mute, Brett. We can't hear you right now.
sorry about that. Could you hear the first part where I said it's Title III Part F? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and restate your.
Yeah, again, so this is Brett Siebert with Saul Ross, and I think there's a distinction between Title III Part A, which is the SIP program, and then Title III Part F, which this one is under. So that's HSI, STEM and articulation. So the program description is to increase the number of Hispanic and other low-income students attaining degrees in STEM, and to develop model transfer and articulation agreements between 2- and 4-year institutions. So just a little point of clarification there on the Title III.
Thank you. I believe that we have viewed this thoroughly and had a discussion. So I think it is probably time for us to vote on this one. We could continue to do the same conversation for quite some time. So if you would, I'm going to do, so let's do it this way as we had in the past. Do we have institutions, and we've heard the justification from Dr. Spiritu at Texas A&M Kingsville. Does anyone believe that this is not restricted research?
I think we have to call the vote.
Oh, yeah, yes. Okay, so we're going to call the vote. We're going down. Angela State University.
No.
Lamar.
Yes.
Midwestern State,
No.
Prairie View A&M,
No.
Sam Houston,
Yes.
Stephen F. Austin,
No.
Saul Ross,
No.
Carlton,
Yes.
Texas A&M Galveston,
Yes.
Texas A&M Central Texas,
Yes.
Texas A&M Commerce,
Yes.
Texas A&M Corpus Christi,
Yes.
Texas A&M Kingsville,
Yes.
yes, okay. Texas A&M San Antonio,
Yes.
Texas Southern University,
Yes.
Texas State,
Yes.
Texas Women's,
No.
UT Arlington,
Yes.
UT Dallas,
Yes.
UT El Paso,
Yes.
UT San Antonio,
Sorry. Yes.
UT Tyler,
Yes.
UT Permian Basin,
No.
UT Rio Grande Valley,
Yes.
University of Houston,
No.
University of Houston Clear Lake,
No.
University of Houston Downtown,
No.
University of Houston Victoria,
No.
University of North Texas,
Yes.
University of North Texas at Dallas, okay, West Texas A&M,
No.
results are, yeah, the yes, it will be deemed as restricted research. The tally is 18 for and 12 against.
13.
So all right, so that one there will be designated as restricted research. All right, next one we're going to is University of Texas, El Paso, over 250. I believe we left on Award 101064, Leticia Paez.
Here I am. This is Manuela Doki for UT El Paso on the project for Leticia Paez. And this project was tabled yesterday due to me trying to rush through everything and not explaining very well. And I've gotten in touch with the PI and the project team, and they confirmed that that it is research. However, they still couldn't really express. So I realized that I also uploaded the wrong explanation. So if you could go to the uploads, because I was able to upload the right explanation and determination. And attached to it is the IRB. And the IRB is more indicative than anything that this is research, because the methodology has been identified. And I uploaded everything under, I believe it's under the other information PDF.
Any questions for?
I really would like
University
to.
of Texas El Paso.
I really would like to focus the attention on page 2 on down, because that's where the Texas Health Attitude and Behavior Survey is defined. And it starts out by saying, research from the University of Texas El Paso College of Health Sciences invites you to participate in a research study about vaccine attitudes. Okay, so this is more clearly explaining the purpose of the whole program. And they're going to do this testing and this survey that then drives the rest of the program. So embedded in this IRB protocol request, right, are the intentions. What are they looking for? The methodology, the survey tool, and the rest of the first page explains what they're doing with it. And that is to develop tools and curriculum and materials to provide to the Texas Department of Health Services individuals, and train them with those tools to implement and use them to combat misinformation. I'll take questions now as much as if there are any, because I know it was very difficult for me to get the research team to understand my questioning and what is required, and then the short turnaround.
Any questions for University of Texas El Paso?
Just a quick comment. Thank you, Manuela, for uploading the additional documentation here. And one tiny question, actually, and that is, after development of deliverables, I assume they're also going to be evaluating the deliverable use as well?
Absolutely. I think that happens actually during the study, because they're working throughout development of those new tools. They're training subgroups in the use of it, and at that point they're evaluating the impacts. So it's not so much afterwards as during the project activities. Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none. We've heard University of Texas El Paso's justification. Does anyone have any belief that this is not restricted research? Hearing no objection, 101064 is going to be marked as restricted research. Going down the line, University of Texas El Paso, 101067, Peter Golding.
Okay. Again, Peter Golding is out of our College of Engineering, and he helped also providing a new abstract that is more indicative of the type of research. And again, this is a Department of Education. Wait, here it is. Okay, it's in the Department of Education labeled R&D, and here's the methodology. with STEM Future, it is in many ways is an education grant. It has research components embedded within the proposed work that go beyond what is typically covered through evaluation, i.e. assessing programs, process and progress, processes, participant levels of satisfaction with activities, identifying challenges and developing strategies to improve the program. As an example, one activity that we proposed and have started implementing is innovative, interdisciplinary applied STEM instructions, including applied learning projects and instruction design services provided to lower division, mostly freshmen, UTEP and EPCC, biology and the course numbers, and engineering and course numbers students. The instructional method used are hypothesized to increase students' sense of belonging in college and STEM grit resilience and their motivation to continue in STEM. We are using one group pre and post testing design, conducting paired samples, t-tests analysis to see whether our hypothesis is supported. Moreover, a quasi-experimental design will be used to see whether students who take part in those courses are trained and graduated at a greater rate than similar peers. Retention and graduation analysis will be done using chi-square analysis and predictive modeling, such as logistics, regression analysis, with controls for the entry cohort, college, major, credit hours at entry, high school rank, Pell Grant eligibility, etc. Other STEM future activities with a research component are the summer STEM skill building and acculturation programs, which focus on positively impacting students' self-efficacy, research skills, presentation skills, etc. The effect of the programs on students will be measured using one group pre and post test design that assesses changes in participating students' level of confidence, self-efficacy, and their gain in skills or skills development. Pairing sample t-test analysis will be conducted on these measures to see if the changes are significant. So,
Manuela, I have a question. This is Chris Milligan from University of Houston.
yes,
This award states that it's a continuing grant. Was the previous one approved by this committee? And if so, when, and what was the number?
Dr. Lofter, Andrew, could you go back to the portal? Because what we usually do is we enter in the note section the prior approval, but it's kind of a continuation, but it really isn't. It's a new idea and a new concept with a new hypothesis. So it's just, yeah, let me go ahead and look.
It does not mention that this was a previously approved protocol and a number associated with it. That's why I was asking.
Then I missed that. May I call on my team in the background to please research in, this would have been 5 years ago, 2016, 2017, under Golding.
Yeah, we were asking what year. You said 2015, 2017?
No, it had to be 16 or 17, where it originally was approved.
Manuela, this appears to be a new project because your SPO number is your Department of Ed award number, and the 21 after C indicates when the award was made in Department of Ed award numbers.
So it is a new number. It's a new project, right? Okay, good. Whew.
Thank you. Understood.
Yeah, because I thought so because it was a new hypothesis. It was a new project, a new research project. So I don't know where the continuation came in but Dr. Golding has had prior approvals on similar grants.
Any other questions for UTEP? Hearing none. We've heard the justification from UTEP. Does anyone believe that this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection, we will have this listed as restricted research for this review. UTEP 101068, 101071, and 101074, based on our agreement for consensus, will be considered restricted research. It has a majority over 12 votes. UTEP 101076, John Wiebe. UTEP.
Yes, I'm right here. I'm just catching up with myself here. Sorry.
Not a problem.
Where am I? All right. I am looking at Dr. Wiebe's project, which I coded at 1.1.1, 1.3.1, and 1.3.2. This project is applied research confirmed by US DOD. Again, they labeled the NOGA as research and development, and the IRB, although IRB is not required because they're using totally unidentifiable data of UTEP students, but it's a very heavy evaluation and outcome reports are anticipated to be published. This is a multi-purpose objective, but greater than 50% of the funding is allocated to the research component. And the abstract defines this: the vision of the proposed 5-year project is to develop a national model for Hispanic serving institutions for re-engaging, re-enrolling, effectively educating, and supporting stop out and potentially stop out students to degree completion. Thus, our goals are to increase retention and build workforce-ready knowledge and skills amongst undergraduates at UTEP. The project addresses competitive preference priorities number 1 and 2, and its objectives include increasing opportunity for participation in work-based learning experience aligned with an in-demand industry sector and expanding UTEP's holistic advising model inclusive of financial literacy and other skills to build personal financial understanding that will contribute to student success. So again, we have to do the research as to why people are stopping out, and we have to do the data gathering through our office of, they call it SERP, which is they collect all the student data and report on it, right? And they develop the graphs and so on and so forth. So the methodology is identified as using curricular analytics to quantify the complexity of all of our degree programs, doing qualitative interviews with our disciplinary academic advisors to identify curricular barriers for students, feeding the data above to deans and chairs to inform curricular improvements, using predictive data for strategic course scheduling, analyzing data on student retention to identify advisors and advising practices that are associated with student success. And that is all I have been provided. The budget is nearly 100% for staff that are doing the analytics, the analysis, receiving, providing feedback on the student barriers to stay in school, and from there, then they are building this new new and improved program to stop students from dropping out.
Any questions for UTEP?
Manuela, this is
Hearing
Kathy
none.
from Midwestern
Sorry.
State. And looking at the CFDA number, it looks like this is also a Title III, Title V program aimed at strengthening institutions where it has a research component, but that is not perhaps the primary focus of the project. Is that correct? Because I'm guessing this is exactly the same conversation we just finished 10 minutes ago.
It is. Again, really truly the majority of the funds are going to staff. They are not even going to faculty. All right. And it's the staff that's doing all the data gathering and the research, right? So the majority of the funding is designated for the research, and the objective is research, because without the research component, what do we have?
Well, but if the primary purpose of the project is research, then can you address how that fits the priorities of the program? Because the priorities of the program are to provide student support to strengthen the institution, not to conduct research.
I do not know how to answer that in any other form without starting another lengthy discussion as we had with Tamuk. So,
And unfortunately, the abstract actually supports Kathy's conversation where it's saying the priorities of this project are to address, our goals are to increase retention and build workforce ready knowledge and skills among undergraduates at UTEP. The project addresses competitive preference priorities 1 and 2 as its objectives, including increasing the opportunity for participation in work-based learning experiences. And I'm not going to keep going, but the abstract itself, the grant itself is saying the priority isn't, creating something, testing the model, coming back. It is the priority of this grant is to increase the students.
Yeah, and that is strictly related to you read the guidelines in the pre-award phase of a project, right? You read the guidelines, and of course you write to the priorities in order to make sure you get funded, because you can't, or it is uncommon that you write down the research before the addressing the priorities, because that shoots your project right down the drain when it gets evaluated. And in this case, yes, it was written to focus on the students that are dropping out. And how do you focus on these priorities, without doing the basic research to go with it? How do you know how to stop students from dropping out? How do you know what is needed for these trainers and the staff and the advisors to address students with the special needs? And like I said, we can beat that dead horse to death again, but I understand the concerns, and I hope that I'm doing an adequate job trying to explain that, sometimes the guidelines or the FAs or, the proposal requests and the award and the proposal itself, they don't align in language. Like I said, many of our PIs write to the required priorities, and that's when the research actually gets lost. So the research efforts to implement the objectives, to really adhere to the objectives. But without research, you don't have objectives. You can't fulfill the objectives and the priorities. And that's about all I can say. But
We have some hands raised. Yes, I have hands raised. So first we have Dr. Garcia.
So a majority of the budget you indicated is for the staff, and you indicated the staff will be doing the research?
Yes.
But is the staff trained to
Well,
do?
That's part of it. Okay, we have served developing the model and the questionnaire and the complex whatever, and then we are training the staff for the staff to get feedback from the students, to then analyze the data, and the data is analyzed by our CERT, by professors, but it's an institutional organization, so we can't charge any of their stuff as a direct cost. So the only people that are being paid from this grant are the frontline staff. This is not a teaching at all. This is a it's a research project where it takes a village to meet the objectives. This project is in our office of the provost.
Dr. Espiritu.
Thank you. I think that's why we have these interesting discussions for this type of projects where we have this type of components. And I don't know if we can provide feedback to the agency, but anyhow, these projects are classified as research and development, developing all these type of different interventions that our researchers are proposing. But we need to be able to test them, to base them on science so that we know they are successful. That's my take on it. Because and also these are the projects that I think is interesting to discuss them, to hear what others are doing, to learn about what other projects are doing so that we know and we can take a look at the budget, for instance, if it's only for construction or for doing something else. But if it is to support and hire staff to develop this type of interventions, well, the staff that you're going to hire, you're going to interview them and you're going to make sure that they have the credentials to be able to collect the data, analyze it, and prepare it in a way that you can report back to the agency, and also present the results maybe in publications and conferences. I am fully supportive of this.
Thank you. Teresa, West Texas A&M.
Hello. My is more of a comment than a question. I just want to caution the committee. We're drawing an awfully thin distinction between these types of projects that are intended to improve general overall status in an institution or targeted groups. And I am setting on millions of dollars worth of talent search and upper bound math and science, that if the distinction is we're collecting data and measuring and comparing, then all of those would count as well. And I just don't think that's in the spirit of what is to be considered research, because any project that you do, of course, they're going to want you to evaluate it. And of course, you're going to collect data. And of course, you're going to try to find some way to compare either to prior cohorts, or you're going to, measure up against a school that's in your cohort group to compare to. But it's the way we're going, in my humble opinion, virtually any grant could be considered research.
Teresa, I want to address that. You are absolutely right. It is a very thin line. All right. Personally, for UTEP, we have only submitted one upward bound that was strictly to provide information on an award for $30 million. The Department of Ed wanted to know, what did you do with my $30 million? What are the impacts, what are the improvements? So that's the only one we ever submitted for research, because it was strictly research, right? But I'm with you. Not everything coming out of the Department of Ed is research, even if it is labeled R&D, and I have several awards that I will not submit because I do not want to violate the spirit of what we're doing here, what we're representing, and how we represent our institution, right? if it doesn't meet the criteria, it just doesn't meet the criteria. And not only that, we will be in a whole lot of trouble during audit, because if we assign indirect, according to research versus instruction versus outreach, we will be in a whole lot of trouble if we miscode those non-research versus other, or public service or whatever. So I understand the fine line, and it is my sincere effort to not sneak something into the board. That's just not the way I operate. And I thank you for your comments.
Now I have Walter, JMU Central Texas.
Yes, I just wanted to clarify some of these things. I'm a little bit confused now as I listen to the discussion. It sounds like some people are thinking that research means what a lot of people call scholarship of discovery, where you are looking for something new. You're not testing sort of like what you're doing, but you're really looking for something new. You're going to publish. I've noticed a couple of people mention, will this be published? Where will this be published? Who will publish it? But I'm wondering, when we use the word research for this context, are we also talking about, for example, institutional research? So if our IRE office did research and they came up with something, so it seems like there's a divide here between people saying something that's done for the purpose of improving a program at your university is not research. Something that's done to be published primarily is research. And I really need that to be resolved, because I have not been submitting the ones that are sort of that more improvement at the university, but it sounds like we are actually approving some of those. So I really want to get a better sense of what actually we mean by the word research. Do we mean only scholarship of discovery kinds of things where it's something new? Or if it's something that you're doing at your university, it's something that will lead to something new. I noticed that some of the terms when Enola was talking, she talked about developing a model, curricular analytics, analysis of retention data. These are things that are actually research strategies, but it's not clear as to exactly what we're defining research as. So I really need some help. This is only our second year doing this, and I think I'm more confused now than I was last year. So if someone could address that, I mean, it doesn't have to be today, but if someone could address it, or maybe in the guidance, if that could be addressed, that'd be really helpful to kind of get a sense of what we should be considering research to be. So that's just my confusion. I was kind of hoping to get some help. And again, it doesn't need to be now, but it would be helpful in the guidance if that could be addressed. Thanks.
Yes, let me step in for just a second. I agree that that's a good question that needs to be addressed. I did say, at the beginning of the meeting, I said I was trying to accommodate Tarleton and Corpus Christi. If you would approve, I would like to table this discussion, come right back to it where Walter left off with that question. And I would like to go ahead, and the ones that had to go out the earliest, I believe, was Tarleton at 10:45. And I think that they didn't have any on the over 250, but they had some on the under 250. There was just a few. And then we can go to Corpus, and we'll come right back to this particular award on UTEP. Does anyone have any objections with that?
I have no objection, but what number are we tabling? I just want to mark it in my notes.
We're on 101076. That's what we're on right now for UTEP. And then we're gonna move a little bit here. Hopefully I don't get you dizzy, but we're gonna go to Tarleton on the under 250. And we have 4 awards. And then let's address those now, and then we'll go to Corpus, and then we'll come right back to UTEP. So Tarleton State, under 250, 99953. Larry M. Hawk, Tarleton.
So thank you for giving the opportunity to go early. And like Walter said, this is my second year. So I'm also learning a lot here. But this award, 9953 by Larry Hawk, through the Texas Institute for environmental and applied research. The purpose of this award a project is to assess the amount of dissolved oxygen, total maximum load for the Upper Oyster Creek in Southwest Houston. The project entails the linking of a watershed model to a combination of hydrodynamic water quality model, developing necessary segmentation of watershed and primary streams, development of the input data required by the models, and verification of the modeling system. So the main objective is to determine the approach to be used to assess the allowed amount of oxygen demanding substances, collect observational data in the prototype system in the Upper Oyster Creek and its major tributaries over multiple events to assess current conditions and to provide data to verify simulation results obtained from the linked modeling system. So this project is funded by the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, and the outcomes of this project is development and application of the updated modeling systems to tracking pollutant loads allowed for dissolved oxygen. Outcomes will also be publication of their research findings on the TCEQ's website and support the TCEQs in public interactions associated with the dissolved oxygens, bacteria, and pH. And the final outcome will be to inform TCEQ on policies and procedures to mitigate environmental pollution.
Any questions for Carlton? Hearing none. Does anyone believe that, you've heard the justification, anyone believe that this is not restricted research? Hearing no objection, seeing no objection. 99953 will be categorized as restricted research. 99954, Jimmy Milliken. Carlton.
Right, the purpose of this project, again, it is with TCEQ, was to conduct the use attainability analysis on the Adams Bayou above Tidal and Gum Gully. UAAs are necessary to evaluate the appropriate aquatic life uses and dissolved oxygen criteria for a water body. In addition to the UAA, this project provides modeling support for the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality and is comprised of multiple phases that have occurred over multiple years. This phase of this current study involves finalization of the development and application of the updated modeling system to develop pollutant load allocations for dissolved oxygen, development of bacteria, and pH pollutant load allocations. Outcomes of this project will be development and application of the updated modeling system to track bacterial load, pH pollutant load, and also inform TCEQ on policies and procedures to mitigate environmental pollution. In addition, this particular project will also be published on TCEQ's website to inform public interactions in the state of Texas.
Any questions for Carlton? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe that this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection. 99954 will be categorized as restricted research. 99956, Jimmy Milligan again, Tarleton.
So this project again is supported by the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality to our Texas Institute for Applied Environmental Research. The goal of this research project is to calculate and evaluate the bacterial load in White Oak Creek and Dry Branch Creek that will harm the flora and fauna. The PIs will develop flow duration and load duration curves by using historical Escherichia coli data The research will help to develop the pollutant load allocations required for the total maximum daily load addendums. The research will also compile GIS-based information for the assessment of potential sources of bacteria. The research and the new knowledge will inform TCEQ to help develop policies and mitigation strategies to prevent environmental pollution. Outcome will be 2 publications that will be posted on TCEQ's website for dissemination. TIER performed the development and application of flow duration curves and the load duration curves that require historical steam flow records and historical E. coli data to develop the pollutant load allocations required for the TMDL addendums. So that's some of the research design. I'll stop here if you guys have additional questions.
Questions for Tarleton on this award? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe that this is not restricted research? Hearing no objection, seeing no objection. Did I hear someone? Hearing and seeing no objection, 99956 will be categorized as restricted research. 99959, Subi Gandhi, Tarleton.
So we withdrew this project, and now after hearing all the discussions, I think there should be a really clear guideline on, some of these projects that are interventions and IRB, and even though you have IRB, we have surveys and all, we did not submit a majority of our Department of Education grants. I think a little bit of guideline will help us, institutions like us to submit more of these projects that are being researched. I already withdrew this project, so I don't think it's fair to discuss that here.
I hear the
This one has been.
I hear the prospect of a subcommittee that I'd be willing to help or sit and listen to and help with.
We already have that one subcommittee that we're going back to look at the SAMs. I think this might be a good forum to discuss the same issue that has come up.
I agree.
That we can provide better guidance going on the next round of award reviews. Okay, so you're saying that last award was withdrawn, correct, Dalton?
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you, committee, for that. Should be it for Tarleton. You should be complete.
Thank you for accommodating us.
Oh, glad we could. Let's go to Texas A&M Corpus Christi. We have several awards, but several of them already we're going to be considered restricted research due to consensus. So award 102139, this is over 250. I'm over 250 now, so I've switched. 102139, James Gibault, Corpus Christi.
First of all, thank you for accommodating us. This is an award for maintenance, but it is an additional funds or extra set of funds given to this for the GOMRI and Gulf of Mexico Research Initiative Information Data Center that was developed in 2011 for the control number 15119. And additionally, the data management support for amount of greater than 8 million that was approved in 2017 with the control number 70958. This is the 13th year of, it's a different set of amount given for the purpose of maintaining that data center. And the output of it's the same, the work on administrative tool improvement, finalize the NCI data and publish on the GOMRI data set for the community to have it in the Heart Research Institution.
Any question for Texas A&M Corpus Christi?
Yes. This is Manuela
Is that a
from.
yes, you have a question?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
This is maintenance and the maintenance of a database.
This is-
I'm just asking, where is the research?
So as we have already talked about that, once you just set up the data center and the data this and in there, a continuation of support of gathering the data, uploading it to maintain the data sets, the database that's there in order to analyze the data sets, input the new set of data and have it for the studies that they do in the Gulf of Mexico. And it's a crucial component of keeping on updating and maintaining that to the established research center that they have.
Charmaine, it looks like what that is 1.1.4, which is external funding to maintain facilities and or operation of a center facility used for R&D. Is that correct?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not the database that's important. It's the research to get the data into the database. Because you just indicated that there's ongoing research in the Gulf of Mexico.
That is correct. It's the whole program of the initiative. It's there. It's a standing research center, and you collect the data. You do have to input the data in the database, and the system that they have developed, the software that they developed to upload that and analyze those to be published for GOMRI and other alliances of the Gulf of Mexico.
Understand. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for Texas A&M Corpus Christi? Hearing and seeing none, does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection, 102-139 will be considered restricted research for this review. 102-159 was considered restricted research based on consensus. 102-160, Heather DeGrand, Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Yeah, this is the third year continuous funding, and the initial was approved in 2019 with control number 79672, and in 21 for the second year funding of the control number 86597, and this is that continuation.
So this was approved as research before?
Yes.
Any questions, any additional questions for Texas A&M Corpus Christi? Hearing and seeing none, does anyone believe that this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection, Award 102-160 will be considered restricted research for this review. 102-162, 102-178, and 102-185 were considered restricted research based on consensus. 102-190, Ahmed Mahdi, Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Okay, so this one had to do quite a bit of work. Let me pull the document.
Charmaine, while you're pulling that, the only major question I had on this one was it shows that the capital outlay pool is 2 million. And if this is capital for construction, that's not allowable by virtue of the SAM. So that's the only thing I wanted to know is if it's for construction, then
it's not for construction. So I emailed the new document having the PI to put it in, and I can tell you what that is. The entire purchase was of testing hydraulic and hydrological equipments, complete of those set, material testing of thermal and electrical properties. Equipment have been hydrological environment sustainability and computing infrastructure that they have purchased, industrial human factor safety purchases, and all these purchases have us gained 3 additional NSF grants that the students and the faculty member are currently using these equipments to work on.
But this is for equipment.
Correct.
You just listed off the list of equipment.
So yeah, I do. So do you have the one that I emailed you, the summary of all the details? It was closed and I emailed you to upload that, but I don't see it there. If you don't have it, I'll be happy to share that details.
What is the SAM number for?
That was-
0.1.4 again?
Yes.
You saying that you emailed it to me?
Yes. It was titled as type A. It's called type A grant report underscores September 2022.
If you don't mind, would you go ahead and share that? We can put it on the screen.
Absolutely.
And one other quick question, I see in the notes for SAMs, it does reference 2.3.3 and 2.4.8, neither of which are eligible for research. So just to confirm that greater than 50% of this is for the 1.1.4 and the 1.3.2 purposes as opposed to the instructional.
That is correct. All of them are totally usable. I uploaded because they didn't even have anything written down, so I had to make them write it to me to see what it was, and all of the purchases on details invoices are literally this what I summarized. I have my share button disabled, so if you would let me, I can show you the summary that the PI has submitted.
We're working on that now.
Okay, thank you.
Should be ready to go.
All right. All right. I'm sorry, I'm sharing the entire screen, so there are like 100 things on there. Excuse me for that. So you can see here that it was the material testing stuff that they have purchased, and the hydraulic hydrology equipments. And these are the ones of awards that we have already secured and used using these materials. Here are more other stuff that they have purchased. And
So they own the labs where is this a lab or a classroom where they're keeping the,
yeah, so we did not do any capital purchase as to build a lab in there. It's only equipments already standing building inside that we have purchased these.
and are they kept in, not that you built a lab, but are they kept in a lab or in a classroom?
It is kept in the labs.
I personally think that it falls under 1.4.4 with a stretch. It's not just computers, it's equipment to conduct research with, because what can you do with hydraulic and hydrologistics, I can't even say it right, without having research on it? A set of advanced equipment items for hydrological measurements, monitoring, and experiments. Very, very much research.
This is Chris Milligan from the University of Houston. We have a very, very similar research facility with equipment such as this, although at a larger scale. And there is no doubt that this is considered research equipment. I mean, this is not something that you use for student education. This is truly research.
Totally agree.
Thank you.
With that, if there's any more comments, seeing and hearing no more requests for comment, you heard the justification from Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Does anyone believe that this is not restricted research? Seeing and hearing no objection, Award 102-190 for Texas A&M Corpus Christi will be categorized as restricted research. And I believe that, oh, wait a minute, one more. We are now traveling to the under 250. So we're going to under 250 for Corpus Christi in order to accommodate their time frame for today. And this will be award number 102-069, William Edwards. Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Yeah, so this is the Cardinal Survey Management Solution, and basically the Cardinal Survey is a tool that they use to measure the surveying tool. And what they do is provide a software solution to gather the surveying data sets and manage the research project to migrate sponsored data in the cloud base, and they publish it to be available, all of them. This is more of a Conrad Blucher Institute surveying tools that they use. And it's also one of those maintaining those softwares.
Any questions? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe that this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection.
I actually have a question.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
And I may be completely off, but at the end of this document, it says that the complete database that the institution shall convey the full and complete database and relevant associated products to the sponsor upon submission of the final report. How is this not and I'm going to call this a fee for service, or because I'm not doubting that there isn't going to be research going on, but it's like we're doing this project, we're building this software solution, and then we're handing everything over to them, and then our hands are done with it.
So the way I was explaining is that they do hand it, but this is also available for publications, and they continuously, the surveying community uses from them, and more research products are done under that Cardinal solution. Perhaps they need to write better. I won't disagree with that.
This is Walt Murphy again, and this is, again, my same confusion for being relatively new. In the case where you do research and then you turn it over to someone else, so for example, if we had research where we developed a drug and then it was sponsored by someone and then we gave the drug to that company to sell, that would then not be considered research, even though it was research to develop the drug. But again, this probably needs to be clarified. I have the SAMs, and I don't see these kinds of things really addressed well in the SAMs. So just a comment I wanted to add to that.
SAM overall has is I last revised like in 2015, and a lot of things have happened since then. And I'm totally in support of having a subcommittee to and serve on the subcommittee to revise it and modernize it and update it. Because you're right, again, good question. What's the difference between a service agreement and a research? However, because it's in the same vein of what we have approved before for Corpus Christi, that's it fits into the overall scope.
Yeah, exactly, and it will be really easier so we can go in that, because we have this Conrad Blucher Institute or Hard Research Institute. Their job is to do these surveys and these type of research and publish them free of charge to be available for their community to utilize them and build upon them continuously.
Maybe I'm oversimplifying this in my own head, but on page 9 of 10, it lists the tasks for Corpus Christi, and they are services, tasks. Very clear: migration of sponsored data, deploy sponsored Cardinal instance, patch updates, quarterly summary report. Maybe I'm just seeing this much more simple than it actually is.
I see what you're saying. It's written that way. I'm not going to disagree to what they have written, but that's what the Cardinal solution does. So it's up to you if you want to go with the literal meaning, or when you look up Conrad Blucher Institute and the type of work they do, all of them comes into the same manner. Majority of them would be the right word to use.
So I'm kind of in the same boat. This is Chris Milligan from University of Houston. We have a service agreement for doing Lean Six Sigma projects for companies. And on the surface, if you just read the agreement, it would say, we shall do a Lean Six Sigma evaluation of company X. But when you look further into the agreement, it also states that the people that will be doing this with the oversight of the faculty member is for the purpose of research to allow and expand the knowledge of the students who are doing this. It's not just a fee for service and then we're going and doing, Lean Six Sigma for a company and here's your report, have a nice day. But that data is captured with, or that information is captured within the agreement to say, and the University of Houston is going to take this and is using this as a research base to further XYZ initiatives. That's the piece that I'm missing here. And I agree with you. It is, unfortunately, the PIs don't write typically for that purpose, but that's the only way that I could feel safe in providing you guys with the Lean Six Sigma stuff, because otherwise, yes, on the surface, it would certainly read as a fee for service, but because they incorporate that and explain how that information, it's not just a report, have a nice day, but that base data is then being used to further the research initiatives. And I'm not seeing that here. And that's where I'm a little bit more on the wishy-washy side with this. I can make that leap, but I'm just missing that concrete piece of it.
Yeah, and if I may, I think this also goes along with the Texas Manufacturing Assistance Centers. Like all these Texas Manufacturing Assistance Centers, they provide this type of services to different industries. And sometimes, I mean, I don't know, we need to educate or tell those PIs that they have to include basically some sort of language that you just mentioned so that it can be, or we can better convince the committee that this is also used for research when we bring all that experience back to the classroom and we basically train our students into whatever new techniques they are doing in the companies.
I won't disagree, Jose. This is now my mission to make sure that I have less pain doing this every year.
No, it's the same here. So it's but I agree that this is research, so it should be classified as research.
And greetings from Utah. Good luck on your missions to train PIs to write what they mean, not write what they do, rather than write fancy, long abstracts. Good luck.
I'll take that. I definitely need it.
So with Katie has her hand up and then Amy.
Yes, Charmaine, I see that this cardinal surveying solution is actually a product that TAMU Corpus Christi has. So I found y'all's website. And can you clarify on this particular one? Because it looks like it's offered as a just general service. Would this statement of work represent something beyond what you normally do as part of a service that is building on the research type of thing? Or is it part of the normal service provision that's with this? It would be my question.
So they use this software and build upon research on top of it, Certain of that they also submit based on the collection of it to external fundings, some of that they do, many other on it. So these are different solutions that they have and they build on top of it.
Amy.
Yeah, my request was just to see the write-up again. Can you have that displayed once more?
We're working on that now.
Do you want me to share it if that's all right? Because I have it up.
That would be fine.
Because I agree with Chris that it is up to the PI to make it clear, and it's up to the research administrative staff to make sure that they make it clear. But I would hate for research that's being done to be counted as research by a technicality, even though I know that maybe it's not a technicality, because really it behooves everyone and it's our responsibility to make sure it's clear. But I just wanted to see it once more.
Okay, here, did I miss the?
Should be on your screen now.
Oh, okay.
Yes, can you show it just one page at a time as opposed to two? I'm sorry, I just wanted to. And then
just trying. Oh, is it 2 pages just showing? Sorry. How about now?
6.
Now you
Yeah,
got three.
three pages now. There you go.
Okay. This is what happens when you have a large screen. Sorry.
And then you can, yeah, just if you'll scroll slowly, that's great. Yes. Yeah.
This is more of the agreements, I believe.
Yes.
Or did I even pick the wrong one? Just a second. Making sure.
Can I suggest one thing is to scroll up to the section
Oh,
that was
here it
talking
is.
about IP?
Sorry.
Yes.
Because that I think also will help, who owns this is.
Own the IP, yes.
Well, it actually says something a little bit more in there about that.
I can do that.
There we go.
So jointly on. Let me know when you are ready to scroll down.
Yes. Yes, please.
Okay.
I had one other hand up, Amy Cook. Or did you take it
Yes,
down?
I can't tell. It's a little small. Is there a publication restriction?
That's what I was looking for too, Amy.
There is, not to my knowledge, there is no publication restriction.
Isn't that the whole purpose of that database? To provide data so they can publish on individual research?
That's right. So they use it, all that community of surveying, they use that data set for their furthermore research.
But yet this says that the complete database will be turned over to the sponsor upon final submission.
Yeah.
And that's where my hang up is, unfortunately.
And I'm reading as you are reading too, and I cannot argue that what we're all reading in there, but I'm only going with what was explained to me and what they continue to use in that.
The statement of work and
that, I believe
background
we-
objectives seem especially relevant to this too, because it's providing a software solution that allows survey companies to better manage their offices. It seems very task and deliverable oriented instead of an inquiry type of project.
And apparently, some of the research implement that has been used for improving the cybersecurity measures. This is the piece that I missed, and thank you, Hannah, for letting me know.
Did the PI provide additional evidence about publications that have resulted from prior work, some along the same line or associated with this project?
I did not look for that.
May I suggest we call for a vote?
I was gonna say, I think we're probably ready now. We reviewed the information. We've seen the justification from Texas A&M Corpus Christi for this award. Does anyone believe that this is not restricted research? Seeing that we do have objection, we'll do a roll call vote. Okay. Angelo State,
No.
Lamar,
No.
Midwestern State,
No.
Prairie View,
No.
Sam Houston,
No.
Stephen F. Austin,
No.
Saul Ross, No. Carlton,
No.
Texas A&M Galveston,
No.
Texas A&M Central Texas,
No.
Texas A&M Commerce,
No.
Texas A&M Corpus Christi,
I'm gonna say yes.
Texas A&M Kingsville,
Yes.
Texas A&M San Antonio,
Yes.
Texas A&M Texarkana. Oops, sorry, I'll take that back. Texas State,
Yes.
Texas Tech University,
No.
Texas Women's,
No.
UT Arlington,
Yes.
UT Dallas,
Yes.
UT El Paso,
Yes.
UT San Antonio,
No.
UT Tyler,
Yes.
UT Permian Basin,
No.
UT Rio Grande Valley,
No.
University of Houston,
No.
UHCL,
No.
UH Downtown,
No.
UH Victoria,
No.
UNT,
Yes.
UNT Dallas,
Yes.
West Texas A&M.
No.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that one.
No.
Thank you. Based on the vote, the award will not be considered restricted research for this review.
I do have a comment or a question on that. Several years ago, when we were still meeting in person, mostly, it came up that we were supposed to form a subcommittee to discuss service agreement, work for hire versus research projects. Did that ever come to fruition? And did anything ever make it into the SAM on that? Because yes, it's a very fine line. But you know, when you review and write for contract work, is it work for service or is it really fundamental research? So particularly on cooperative agreements, where the statement of work is a combination of what the sponsor is expecting and what we are going to do. So cooperative agreements have that nature of being told what to do as well. So within there lies the fine line. You know, are we performing a service or are we doing fundamental research? So I just wanted to say that this has been a discussion item for several years, and I wanted to hear if anything ever came of it, if we have ever really met on that and dove into that to possibly update the SAM and make it more clear.
I don't have knowledge of the past one, but I have that topic down for the subcommittee to address when we meet to address the SAM's issues. So I had
Okay,
down service agreements, and research, and work for hire. Put all that down in one big category. to address.
okay. And then
So I will
another,
be,
and then another question, who's on the subcommittee? Has the subcommittee been formed? Have you asked the committee who wants to participate and so on and so forth?
yes, we did yesterday. And so what we had so far, we had Texas State, Angelo State, University of Houston, Texas Women's University, University of Texas at Arlington. And I heard today you said you would want to participate, and I put UTEP down as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No
I
problem.
have one more question. Thank you, everyone. I emailed a new award that I missed originally, assuming that there was an NDA into it and some graphics in that. But turns out to be it is research and it's a management one. Is that something you have accepted? Can I go talk about this, or do I have to come back next year for that? It's called a type B.
I'm not sure. When did you email this one?
I think on either the 26th or 27th.
If it's in the, see if it's in the.
It's
portal.
not in the
It's not in the
system.
portal.
It's not in the portal.
So I would, since it's not, and we didn't have it in there for this review, I would probably put that towards the next review cycle.
All right, we can do that. Well,
Since
thank
we
you.
didn't have time, since the committee has not had a chance to review it at this point. If we had time, maybe, and at the end, but I think we are going to come down to the wire at this time. So let's just take a look at that. And if that's the case, if we do have time, maybe we can accommodate, but in the current scheme of things, I think it would probably be best to go to the next year's review.
Can prayer review be
And
added
do
to
it the
that
same-
committee as well?
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, this is Kimberly from prayer review. Could I be added to that committee as well?
Review?
Yes,
Put you down.
thank you.
All right, so we have, that should be it for Corpus Christi. And they should be finished. All right, we've been here for 2 hours. Do you want to take a 5-minute break?
Yes,
I
please.
see that as a consensus. We have consensus there on that. So we are right now at 11:03. We'll come back at 11:08. Be ready to go by 11:10. All right.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I got it, okay. All righty, I think we're starting to roll back in. Thank you for being so attentive for 2 straight hours. I appreciate that. We are now back to University of Texas at El Paso. We had tabled the discussion on 101076, John Wiebe, and we were having a discussion about whether or not this was considered research. I believe Walter had brought up the question before we left off. So I'm gonna go back to UTEP first. Is there anything you want to add before we go back, and we'll see if we can vote on these two for you?
You're muted.
You're on mute.
This is getting crazy. I'm talking to myself. Everybody's saying,
There you are. Oh, I did it
and I'm
twice. Don't worry
talking.
about it.
I have to find myself. Wait, just a minute. But anyway, I'm here. I do not have anything else to add. I just wanted to refresh, this is an overarching scope of research where the focus is on improving delivery of teaching and training and everything through analysis and research to improve the university life and stop the dropout and encourage staying through. That's the focus as prescribed by the announcement and application, but this is not the function. The function is research. And that's all I'm gonna have to say. And I'd be pleased to answer additional questions.
Do we have questions, or are we ready to vote on this one? Hearing no questions, do we feel that this is not restricted research? If so, please indicate. Feel this is not restricted research. Showing that we have indication that it is not, we will do roll call vote. Angelo State.
No.
Lamar.
Yes.
Midwestern State.
No.
Prairie View.
What was that?
I couldn't hear you, Prairie View.
I'm sorry, no.
That was no? Yes, okay, thank you.
Prairie View says no.
Sam, yes, no, thank you. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston State will abstain from this voting. We have a team that's hopping on and off hour to hour, and I wasn't part of the discussion before the break, so I don't have enough information to vote. Sorry.
So noted. Stephen F. Austin.
No.
Saul Ross.
No.
Carlton.
No.
Texas A&M Galveston.
No.
Texas A&M Central Texas.
Yes.
Texas A&M Commerce.
No.
Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Nothing from Corpus Christi. Texas A&M Kingsville. Excuse me?
Yes.
Yes. Did I hear a comment in there before?
I think they hop off because they had to leave early?
Oh, that's correct. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Texas A&M San Antonio,
No.
Texas State,
Yes.
Texas Tech,
No.
Texas Women's,
No.
UT Arlington.
Yes.
I couldn't hear that, UT Arlington. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
University of Texas at Dallas,
Yes.
UT El Paso. Oh, that's,
Yeah,
yeah, okay. UT San Antonio,
No.
UT Tyler,
No.
UTPB,
No.
UTRGV,
Yes.
University of Houston,
No.
University of Houston Clear Lake, University of Houston
No.
Clear Lake,
Sorry,
No.
no.
University of Houston Downtown,
No.
University of Houston Victoria,
No.
University of North Texas,
No.
University of North Texas Dallas,
No.
West Texas A&M.
No.
Based on the vote, this one will not be considered restricted research.
okay, I accept the vote. I don't like it at all, but I'll accept it. And I want to make a final comment on this issue. I would like for everybody to think, we just said yes to 10-10-64 and 10-10-67, which is in the same vein as 10-10-76 that we just did not code research. And that's all I have to say on this subject.
Duly noted. We're continuing with UTEP 101095.
Yes.
UTEP.
Again, there was the initial, I'm getting to the additional information that I collected overnight. Again, the PI is located in the Department of Education, but is working with an interdisciplinary goal on the objectives, and it was defined as STEM Shine, similar to the STEM Future we discussed earlier. The STEM Shine grant has embedded research components that go beyond evaluation. The main activity, for example, is mentor training for students who will serve as peer mentors to STEM students. The mentor training focuses on developing students' mentoring skills. For the evaluation, we ask students to provide their level of satisfaction with the training and to provide feedback on which component of the training work and which do not work, and how to improve the trainings. However, for research, we test whether the student mentors' mentoring competency increases using a single group and pre-post test design. This data is analyzed using paired samples t-tests. Moreover, we also measure the mentees' perception of their peer mentors' competency to see if there is a correlation between how peer mentees perceive their peer mentors' competency and how the peer mentors perceive their own mentoring competencies, as we hypothesize that there will be a positive correlation. Pearson correlation coefficients and independent sample t-tests will be used to see if there is a significant association, a significant difference between the mentees and mentors' perception. We also propose the use of universal game design models to improve student engagement in courses. We are evaluating the perceived quality of the gaming model, but also testing whether the students report being significantly more engaged than in traditional courses, and not also, or not, and also whether they find the gaming models more effective for learning. STEM Shine also proposes activities for faculty. For example, we create curriculum for synchronous and asynchronous remote learning courses, a UCUE course design with the intent of positive impacting faculty enrollees remote teaching skills. We are evaluating the quality of the course, but we are also conducting research using a one-group pre- and post-testing design to see whether faculty participants' knowledge and self-efficacy is developing, implementing virtual online course increases. So that is the detailed justification from the PI that I received overnight, which supports what we initially uploaded as the abstract, which was not necessarily indicative of the research that really is encompassing and goes on over the life of the project. And I stop here, and I will go ahead and take questions if there are any.
Questions? Hearing and seeing none, does anyone have the opinion that this is not restricted research? Seeing that we have an objection to research, we'll do a roll vote.
I'm not calling for a roll vote if it's all on me. I'm just saying that that's my perception. If the vast majority have no objections, I have no problems with not calling a vote.
I'll be honest, I'm still in the I don't know phase, because some of what was discussed suggests that there is a strong research component with the comparison groups and whatnot, but is that an overlay to make things work, or was that integral in the actual project narrative? And so I kind of, for me, I couldn't vote yes or no without seeing the project narrative.
Okay,
I'm with Katie.
I understand that. And you would be looking at probably 15 to 20 pages of the summary spread out through the whole document. That's why I asked for a summary, you know, so we don't spend a lot of time reading a whole 20-page narrative where we really are not addressing specifically and summarizing, but where we are indicating. And I don't write for PIs. I present what they give me because I do not want to put words that are not there. So this is a summary that was given to me by Dr. Golding, Diana, and that's what I'm presenting. I read the narrative and it's the same story, you know, but in the vein of what we have approved for everyone today, or yesterday mainly, and this qualifies. So thank you for asking the questions, and thank you for letting me tell you, don't read 20 pages.
So as we did yesterday, would it be possible to table this until, I'm assuming there's no way we're going to finish in the next 35 minutes, so I'm assuming we'll meet Monday. So could we table this until Monday and request the upload of the document? Because I've listened to what Manuela has said, and I've also looked at the CFDA, and I'm with Katie, I'm not sure. And so having the additional information to read would be, I think, very helpful.
At this stage, can we just do a raise of hands, because I'm not going to be available on Monday.
What we can do, we can table it, or we can vote now, and with the consensus of the group, with the information that we already have presented.
I put a motion on the table that we vote now.
Yes, let's vote.
I'm seeing the head shakes for yes, let's vote. Let's go ahead and I will call roll vote. Angelo State.
I have to abstain.
Lamar.
I have to abstain as well.
Sorry. Midwestern State.
Abstain.
Prairie View.
Yes.
Sam Houston.
Sam Houston State votes yes.
Stephen F. Austin.
Yes.
Saul Ross.
Yes.
Charlton. Oh, Charlton's gone. Texas A&M Galveston.
Yes.
Texas A&M Central Texas.
Yes.
Texas A&M Commerce.
Yes.
Texas A&M Corpus Christi is gone. Texas A&M Kingsville.
Yes.
Texas A&M San Antonio.
Yes.
Texas A&M Texarkana is not here. Texas State.
Yes.
Texas Tech.
Abstain.
Texas Women's.
Yes.
UT Arlington.
Yes.
UT Dallas.
Yes.
UT El Paso.
Yes.
UT San Antonio.
Yes.
UT Tyler.
Yes.
UT Permian Basin.
Yes.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. UT Rio Grande Valley.
Abstain.
University of Houston.
No.
University of Houston Clear Lake.
No.
University of Houston Downtown.
Yes.
University of Houston Victoria.
Abstain.
University of North Texas.
Yes.
University of North Texas at Dallas.
Yes.
West Texas A&M.
Abstain.
Based on the roll call vote, it will be considered restricted research.
Thank you.
Next one we have, University of Texas at San Antonio was already completed. Texas A&M University at Galveston, Ward 101981, Samuel Brody.
Thank you.
Texas A&M Galveston.
Thank you. This award is to support the Institution for Disaster Resilient Texas, the Digital Risk Infrastructure Program, that they're using the funds to understand the risk communication in under-resourced rural communities across the state. Faculty and student participants are engaging with local communities to assess their flood risk analytical needs, and to also on how they can effectively use data products to address their most pressing flood problems. The aspect of the project fuses communication, map visualization, participatory decision-making, and survey implementation. The data products are being produced are systematically evaluated for their usability and behavioral change effectiveness in local communities. The process involves applying user-centered design concepts and learning theory. The data solutions produced throughout the program will require research on flood models, machine learning techniques, and multi-criteria analysis. All of the program elements are supporting submission of peer-reviewed publications, conference presentations, student projects, additional grant proposals, and the creation of new knowledge on how under-resourced rural communities can become more flood resilient over the long term. We do have, I'm trying to find the budget. We do have a subrecipient for the University of Texas that has an IRB for the human, what do you call it, surveys and things like that. TAMUG will not be doing that portion of it. And I was also trying to find one other document that he sent. The funding that we requested for University of Texas was to lead the communications and stakeholder engagement, including identifying target stakeholders, designing the collaborative plan, and developing survey instruments, designing and conducting interviews, focus groups, documenting their needs, and building the relationship within the communities. I think that's all I have. Do you have any questions?
Questions for Texas A&M Galveston?
This is Texas Women's. Can you share with us the budget?
Sure. Let me
see. Make them, I'm sorry.
And excuse me if I have
And is this State Bill 8 funding?
It is. It is.
Are we allowed to claim that kind of funding for research?
We did not.
You did not?
No,
Okay.
because it's actually, I mean, it's COVID relief funding.
Yes.
And then it was provided to the institutions to do, it's not really restricted, is my understanding.
I didn't know that it was not restricted.
I think that's the only grounds upon which we voted no. I don't think that we're allowed to
use these. Okay, that's fine. We can definitely withdraw it if no one else used it as that. Thank you.
So we'll note Texas A&M Galveston award 101981 has been withdrawn by institution. All right, that gets us finished with the over 250. Everything else has been done by consensus. We're now on under 250 awards. I think we've already done UT San Antonio. We did those yesterday. So we're now on item number 6, less than 250. Start from the top. Angelo State, 99160, Dr. Nicole Lozano.
Yes,
Angelo
and if I
State.
can, if I can trouble you to open the abstract on your end.
Working on that now.
So Because I think I could read it to you, but I think it will be better to just point you to the text.
There you are.
There you go. And if you'll scroll down just a little bit, and I do apologize because I know the title of this project definitely undermined what the purpose of it was. But as you'll see, it's one of the planning grants. So it's not implementation. It's really to do the underlying research to determine what it is we need in order to do the implementation. The implementation more than likely would not qualify as restricted research. But if you'll scroll down a little bit, you'll see what the primary goal is, which is to identify the motivations for pursuing STEM at distinct stages of the academic career. And then you see the three major research questions that align with that. And then if you want to, you don't have to open it here, but everyone has access in the online system to see the budget. You'll see that 100% is used for research purposes. There's no student services, participant support, or any other non-research purposes. Any questions?
Questions for Angelo State? Hearing none. Does anyone believe that this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection. Angelo State 99160 will be considered restricted research. Lamar University, award 99165, Chun Wee Yao.
Yes, he is a
Lamar.
member of our engineering faculty, and we have a research agreement on this. Unfortunately, it's not in the portal. The scope of work was, it says biofouling is the major problem of steel applications for medical instruments. Biofouling could degrade the mechanical properties of metal surfaces, lowering surfaces performances, and lead to surface rupture and raise safety issues such as bacteria growth. Under this research agreement, Dr. Yao's team will develop and evaluate innovative superhydrophonic coatings for antibiofouling. And we have the IP rights, the rights to publish, all of that in the research agreement. Does anyone have questions?
Questions for Lamar?
I just have a naive question about what is the SAM for this one? Where would you put it?
Let me.
I think she listed it as 1.1.7.
Thank you.
It also qualify under 1.1.1.
Any other questions for Lamar? Seeing and hearing none. Does anyone believe that this is not restricted research? Seeing and hearing no objection, Lamar University 99165 is restricted research.
Thank you.
99169 is going to be restricted research based on consensus. University of North Texas 99249 is restricted research based on consensus. 99299 University of North Texas. There we are.
Okay. Yes, this is Chuck Tarantino. I'm going to let our Director of Corporate and Foundation Communications respond. This is Dallas Gill. Thank you, Dallas.
You are muted, Dallas.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. My computer gets a little wonky, needed the headset. So yes, as stated on here, this is a gift from the Intermodal Association of North America. The funds are meant to support research that advances the understanding of intermodal transportation. Reading a statement, got an email here handy from the Senior Associate Dean over here, so reading a couple of notes off of this. The funds are supposed to be used kind of in 3 different ways. To research intermodal trends and issues with a white paper produced by the logistics faculty. Support for graduate and undergraduate students to perform research for the white paper and other research related to intermodal. And maintenance of databases, updating data with information from U.S. Department of Transportation and other reports used to support ongoing research.
Sounds to me like
Any
2/3 research.
Any other questions for UNT? Hearing none, does anyone believe that this is not restricted research? Hearing and seeing no objection, University of North Texas 99299 was considered restricted research. Ward 99301, University of North Texas.
I don't think Chuck's on here, but he was going to defer to me as well on this one. So this gift supports Texas History for Teachers, which is a project that provides 4th and 7th grade social studies teachers access to the most authoritative, evidence-based historical content and best practice pedagogical resources for teaching Texas history. The project requires extensive research as all the content is based directly on the historical record, and this takes time to identify and interpret the ideal documents to include. This project also includes research on the effectiveness and quality of the pedagogy created for the project. This is a fellowship awarded to one of the 2 faculty members working on this project through UNT Libraries.
Questions for UNT?
Awarded through the UNT library?
UNT Libraries is managing the project. It was awarded by the Whiting Foundation. Was a fellowship awarded through them.
Can you confirm that greater than 50% of the funds are for research purposes?
I can. What I was reading off here came directly from the assistant dean. Let's see what else I got here. The best I could do is I don't necessarily have like a donor agreement of any sorts that puts it in writing beyond what I've gathered from the associate dean that is working directly with the project. But I can say, like I said, this fellowship does directly support the faculty member working on this project and his efforts, which are research focused.
I'm sorry, did you say that you don't have the evidence that the donor restricted it to research?
I do not.
So it does say that it is a restricted research group based on what I'm just reading the questionable spreadsheet. It says 1.2.2.1 documentation by the donor that the gift is restricted. So in order for you to claim that, you'd have to have something from the donor that says that it's restricted to research.
Let's see.
Would it be helpful to provide you with a touch more time to upload some of the stuff you just summarized so that we can also kind of see it in writing along with some additional supporting information? Obviously, you can't probably put out your donor stuff. I know that's probably private, but just a little more information.
I have a question. I'm sorry. I have a question.
No, go ahead.
That too, Katie. If can we do a redacted version of the donor agreement, just so that I understand that it might be private, but maybe a redacted version?
Yeah, I could provide a redacted version of evidence from them. I believe I've got a grant agreement from them as well.
So I'm understanding we want to table this until we come back. Seems we're going to have to come back on Monday morning to finish these, and then we will table this one until Monday.
Can we do that with both this and 99354 since they're kind of two sides of the same coin?
Is that amenable to University of North Texas?
They kind of read my mind on that. I was actually going to suggest the same thing. So yeah, that would be fine.
Then may UTEP ask a question? Can we knock off the under 250 for UTEP? Because again, I'm going to be in flight actually on Monday.
So am I. So am I.
And so is Arlington.
So if we want, so who's that? UTA and UTEP?
Yes.
So let's do this. We have 15 minutes. UNT, do you mind us stopping with you for this one? You have one more on the list that would not be tabled unless we just table all yours till Monday.
Let's table them, please.
Let's table all those till Monday.
Thank you,
All right,
UNT.
so University of Texas at El Paso and University of Texas at Arlington. All right, so I'm looking at Arlington. And Arlington, you just have one. Let's knock yours out right now. That, because what I have is for University of Texas at Arlington, 100,828 and 100,833 for restricted resource based on consensus. 100,839. Tracy Greer, Arlington.
Okay, hold on.
Oh,
Are we-
I take that back.
Yeah, I
You
don't.
have several.
Yeah, I got a
You have
bunch.
several. All right, well, let's see. Let me look at both to see who can get the quickest. El Paso has one. How about that? El Paso, we'll do yours first. Then we'll do Arlington's, get them out. So you have
Actually, we have
101.
1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, we have 4.
Oh, yeah, I
It-
see.
It
Yes,
kind of
I had it
struck
divided.
me because
Yes.
in the middle, we have that
The
header.
blue line, yes, it got me
Yeah.
too.
So
So I think you have the fewest. Let's go to yours first, and then we'll go to Arlington to get them out.
I really appreciate it. Thank you, Sarah. Okay. Dr. Santiago is the PI on this project. And this is a multi-entity project for over 1.2 million, of which UTEP was awarded 114,000 to do the survey design. And the text goes as follows, which is not present necessarily in the abstract that we uploaded. In cooperation with the TWT, the Trade, Water, whatever, and VITA, UTEP will design a survey of willingness to pay for water treatment services. The survey will be designed to be administered in 3 distinct types of communities: households in the colonias, households with private groundwater wells not considered to be in colonias, households served by a community or public water system. Surveys will be written on and conducted in English and Spanish, depending upon the primary language of the household. UTEP will be responsible for articulating survey objectives in close coordination and with the oversight of TWT and VITA, setting the sample size, number of households, and survey distribution across various household parameters at each survey site to yield statistical significant results. The survey design should yield a representative sample in terms of number of types of communities, and certain number of households that fit within community types or range of income levels from lowest income households to highest income households, and or range of ability. The survey should capture whether individuals in the household are disabled and what type of accommodations are needed to enable water treatment services. Importantly, the survey design should include a sampling process that attempts to survey households with disabled members. The survey will be delivered in various methods, including over the phone, in person, including in-home and community events, and throughout local store tabling and via the internet. And then the survey will be analyzed and turned over to the partners at TWT and VITA, so they can go ahead and begin implementing water treatment for clean water in these diverse communities. And the outcome of the survey is to measure the willingness to pay for the support. And that's all the information I have.
Any questions for UTEP? Hearing and seeing none. Does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Seeing no objections, restricted research will be denoted in the list. UTEP 101214, Beth Brunk Chavez, UTEP.
Got it. The abstract is coming up right now, and it is the original abstract from the submission. The statement of work: doctoral graduate students who will coordinate between Extended University, UTEP Connect, and the Office of the Provost and El Paso Community College. This student will complete relevant research on adult learners, interview community members, collect and analyze data, collaborate with faculty on online course development, and co-develop workshops and trainings. Undergraduate students who will work in the Center for Instructional Design to assist in the development of online courses with the advantage and experience. This will achieve two goals: advancement of high impact edge experience, I guess it's a platform here at UTEP, in collaboration with instructional design and faculty to produce course templates founded in online pedagogy assets like creative teamwork, critical thinking, and problem solving are enhanced through experimental learning, improved design of future online courses. This effect will impact positive change in outline course development by way of allowing students to design activities and feedback. Do we have any questions?
Questions for UTEP? Seeing and hearing none. Anyone believe this is not restricted research? Seeing no objection. 101214 is considered restricted research. UTEP 101259, Eva M. Moya. UTEP.
Coming right up. And this is a gift. And the information that we received from our institutional advancement is to conduct a train-the-trainer session workshop on the use of the photo voice method with 10 participants who will serve as photo voice group facilitators. These participants are not research subjects in this study and are considered project collaborators. Objective 2. Oh, that was objective 1. Objective 2, to form an advisory committee of key information and decision makers to create awareness and highlighted opportunities to present photo voice results and recommendation. The goal is to work towards supporting Hispanic women with cancer or survivors to inform policy decision makers and engender social change. The advisory committee participants are not research subjects in the study and are considered project collaborators. Objective 3, to document the experience of Hispanic women and cervical cancer in El Paso, Texas, and U.S.-Mexico border region, to document healthcare and human service needs and Hispanic women at risk for HPV-related cancer. Develop a call to action and inform decision makers about experience of cancer amongst Hispanic women. So this is a huge scope, but I can see research in there. Let me see the award documents.
Is there an IRB?
Yes. Okay, this is awarded from the Health Americas Foundation as a research agreement, grant agreement. The research grant agreement entered into the 1st of May 22 between us and them. Recital, the Healthy America Foundation is a charitable foundation, seeks to improve the health and individual families through the Americas and part of the mission, Performing research in the area of CCS. The principal investigator desires to conduct a research project to grantee entitled Photo Voice on cervical cancer screening and care amongst Hispanic women in El Paso.
I'm
That's
sorry, what are you reading from now? I'm sorry.
I'm reading from the award from the Healthy Americas Foundation. This was not uploaded. And this is information that I gathered on questionables.
What is the discipline of Dr. Moya?
Social work.
Given that we have a few minutes left, and I'll talk with UTA just a second. Do we have enough information to make a decision on this award for UTEP? All right. Does anyone believe this is not restricted research? Seeing and hearing no objection. Award 101259 is considered restricted research. Last one is 101271, UTEP.
On 271, it's also a gift, and it was awarded to very little information, designated as research by institutional advancement as restricted gift from the Dr. K. Lester Moody Student Excellent Gift Fund. Funds are to be used to support students pursuing a degree in pharmacy. The funds are to be used at the discretion of the Dean of School of Pharmacy. Example support may include, but not limited to, scholarship support, including tuition, room, board, purchase of course or program-related supplies, travel-related expenses for academic competition, presentation, professional meetings, or scholarly conferences, sponsorship of workshop for the benefit of students, direct support for student-oriented research projects. So
I don't hear where this is where the gift has been restricted for research. That's the only thing that's missing.
I don't either, except that institutional advancement, who are not on the call, provided us this record as restricted research.
I think the key piece is that it says the funds are to be used at the discretion of the Dean of the School of Pharmacy.
Exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and withdraw that just to simplify the process.
Duly noted,
I'm not certain myself.
101271 has been withdrawn.
Thank
University
you.
of Texas at Arlington. I know that you have some that you've said you can't be here on Monday. Do you have another representative that can come Monday morning to present?
I'd prefer to do it if at all possible. It's a federal holiday, so my kid's school is closed. I'm sure a lot of people are in the same boat. So I guess I can jump on in the beginning of the meeting from New Jersey, if that's okay with everybody, as long as I can get knocked out pretty quick and get on my plane to come back home.
I mean, I'm fine. I could put you at the beginning of the meeting. That'd be fine. Because we're only down to the 250s and one from UHV.
Okay.
If the committee is in agreement, we could put University of Texas at Arlington first thing on Monday morning. continue through with the under 250s, and then do UHV. Thank you for your attentiveness, and I'm sorry I was really trying to get through today, but we're gonna get it knocked out on Monday, and if we have time, we can discuss the last, I might just bring up the subcommittee work, and then we'll be done with the meetings. Thank you. You all have a very good day today, and I'll see you on Monday morning.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Sarah, safe travels.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, I will need it starting today. Bye-bye.